An existing secondary entrance is located on the east side of the building. This entrance does not provide direct access to the elevator or the staircases. The district is proposing to construct a secure vestibule to reestablish the east entrance. The applicant letter states that any addition to this side of the property would encroach into the setback area as the existing building is already located so closely to the 50-foot setback. The proposed vestibule as shown on the slide will encroach up to 12 feet into that setback area. The addition will have a footprint of 153 square feet. The new combined building coverage will meet the limited business district building coverage standard. The elevation indicates that all exterior materials and siding will match the existing building. This is an image of the existing conditions on the east side of the building taken from Cedar Avenue. You can also see the existing trees located near the property line. These trees are not planned to be removed from construction of the vestibule, and this has been noted as part of the findings and conditions. For reference to the surrounding area and the character of the Cedar Avenue corridor, multiple other buildings have setbacks that have been reduced from 50 feet. The list shown is not a complete review of every property along Cedar Avenue, but rather a preliminary look at more recent projects that have reduced setbacks. The reduced setbacks are for various reasons. For instance, the Legends located in a planned development have a setback requirement of only 20 feet. Huntington Bank, formerly TCF, which is also located in the limited business district, has an approved variance for a reduced building setback from 50 to 10 feet. In terms of variances, we look at two considerations when reviewing requests: the definition of practical difficulties, including the reasonableness of a request, the unique circumstances of a property, and the character of the surrounding area. We also look at factors to determine practical difficulties, including special conditions of the structure or land of the subject property. The proposed variance is not contrary to the intent of the zoning ordinance. The unique circumstances are not a result of the owner or applicant. The variance is not merely a convenience, and it is the minimum variance necessary. As for recommended findings, I just want to note that the findings have been revised from the staff report, and the updated findings have been provided to you tonight. The main update being the addition of finding number 9. For a brief overview, the findings lay out the requirements of the LB zone, the existing conditions of the site and the building, including the lack of security and visitor management at the current entrance, the more favorable conditions of the east entrance, and how the reduced setback will not alter the character of the Cedar Avenue corridor. The finding also note that no significant trees are planned to be removed, and then lastly, the addition of number 9, which states that security and visitor management needs of the Learning Center cannot be met at the existing north entrance due to the elevator and primary staircase at the entrance, which allow unrestricted access for staff, students, and authorized visitors. The existing east entrance can provide security and visitor management by constructing a vestibule addition. A secure vestibule addition on the east side of the property cannot be constructed without encroaching into the 50-foot building setback from Cedar Avenue because of the proximity of the existing building to the setback. These facts constitute a practical difficulty warranting the setback variance. If the Planning Commission concurs, staff suggests a recommendation be made tonight. Please note that the recommended motion has been updated from the staff report and is reflected on this slide. And with that, I can take any questions. We also have a representative from Wold Architects here tonight.
Commissioners, any questions for Sydney, first of all, before the applicant? No? So I think the applicant, if you wanted to come up, I have a couple of questions, I know. So explain to me why you can't add that to the entrance on the north side versus the east side. I mean, I understand that all the staircases and elevators and stuff like that are there, but if you're building on an addition, why can't you do it on the north side?
Sure, thank you. So physically, the vestibule could go on to the north side. The challenge is that managing staff are interior of the building, so even if it were built there, it would function the same as it does today, where visitors would be buzzed in, and be able to access vertical circulation prior to engaging with staff. So the intent is that staff would engage with a visitor prior to allowing them into the.
Sure, understand. Like, I'm guessing you have like a welcome desk there or something that somebody lets them in,
Yep,
like they do
exactly.
in schools. I, for one, know those very well because I worked them quite often.
Very similar to many of the school additions that happened, I think, in 2018.
Yeah. So you still couldn't have that in the entryway on the north side, have a
Not-
desk in there and,
Not without increasing the addition to the size where you could move those staff into it, which again would, as we put into our application, would be feasibly, it'd be more expensive, cost prohibitive than doing it on the
east
east
side?
side. Yeah.
and I actually didn't know that School District 196 owned that, but do you have students there at same time that the students are in regular class and stuff?
No, this building functions much differently. It's basically community education. So it has adult basic education. There's ECFE, so early childhood family education. So there's visitors coming kind of all day during the day, even after hours.
Okay.
They have people using the building. So it's not your typical K-12 schedule.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Commissioner Scanlon?
Madam Chair, Cindy, could you bring up the slide that shows the layout of the building?
I can-
That might just give a visual aid to go along with the explanation that we just had for anybody that's,
These are your questions for the applicant. Do you want to get back up?
no, I mean, I just thought it would help if we brought it up. It just
Sure.
kind of explains the fact of having it on the north side of the issue with the staircase and the elevator, everything condensed in that small space and compared to,
Sure, I was just thinking that the building, if you put a building in front of there. Thank you. Anybody else? Commissioner Halas?
Just a question for you in regards to the north side entrance. Is that going to be changed at all, closed, eliminated?
So the north side would have to remain purely from a building egress standpoint. We can't just lose those doors. I imagine they would continue to allow staff to use, badged and card read access to get in and out of the building. But visitors would purely use the new entrance.
And it was just the east side. Are there going to be any changes to lighting in certain times of the day that?
No, there's no other proposed changes to the project besides the vestibule addition. There, as you can see in the plan, there will be a slight sidewalk modification. There's an existing trail there that'll be slightly modified around the addition, but other than that, there aren't any other site modifications, parking lot or lighting or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Commissioner Mahowald?
Just on the north side there, it looks like where the entrance is that the elevator to the immediate left there?
Correct. The elevator is right here.
Okay. And then those are open stairs to the right?
These are open stairs, and currently staff are positioned in this portion of the building. As part of the project, they will simply be moved to this part of the building so that they can directly manage that entrance.
Okay, so with respect to the existing entryway on the north side, you couldn't, I mean, even if you could add a card reader to the elevator to restrict access, you'd still have an open stairwell?
Correct.
Okay.
Good. Commissioner Scanlon?
Madam Chair, question with adding this with the new vestibule, is there going to be some type of signage and direction to show people how to, because it's not real,
Yeah, we have, obviously, these plans are preliminary for the purposes of the variance, but definitely as part of the project, the owner has, ISD 196 has indicated that there does need to be wayfinding signage from the parking lot to the main entrance. That would be part of the project once we get it developed at that point.
and I guess my only other comment, and it was already asked about lighting, that if with this change being, and that there's not dark spots or what have you for, like you said earlier, this is being used throughout the day and into the evening and so forth, especially in the wintertime where it's dark, that this is well lit. So I guess that was one thing that that Sydney, I guess I'll ask you to just keep that in mind as you go forward with this, to take a look at it. Won't hamper anything we're doing here the rest of the with this tonight, but it's just a thought that I have.
Yeah, we can
Keep that in
certainly,
mind, please.
we can certainly evaluate existing lighting along this, because this is a public walk trail through here, so we can
Yeah.
evaluate what the existing lighting conditions are and make sure we're doing whatever we need to do at our entrance as well.
Okay.
Yep,
Thank you.
of course.
Appreciate.
Commissioner Mahowald?
Just another quick question. I'm not sure if it's for you or for staff and whether this is actually a good question or not, but it looks like if you'd still end up with the 38-foot setback with the addition, I'm just, with respect to the other variances that have been granted with setbacks, I would imagine just kind of is it true that some of the other variances bring you much closer to Cedar Avenue than this proposal? I think, or in other words, much, I guess, shorter setbacks have been allowed at other locations. Is that a fair assessment?
Chair Kurtz, Commissioner Mahowald, that is a fair assessment. There have been closer setbacks or reduced setbacks. For instance, like the legend is 20 feet. Huntington Bank, formerly TCF, was reduced to 10 from 50. Cedar Ridge has a reduced setback to 25 feet. I can go through them all if you'd like.
That pretty much answers my question. And I guess with respect to the setback requests, is there any consultation with Department of Transportation or any other highway-related entity? Do they have a say in that, or is the setback really outside of the sort of the operational needs of the roadway and more of a concern of the city? Does that make sense at all? It's not compromising in any way, shape, or form the transportation corridor that Cedar Avenue represents.
Chair Kurtz, Commissioner Mahowald, I do not believe that we've ever had to consult with Minnesota Department of Transportation for these types of variance requests. They're not within the right-of-way. They're still on their property. For instance, Chick-fil-A, we did not consult with the Minnesota Department of Transportation. I can defer to other staff if that's a...
City engineer, you
Yeah.
want to answer that?
Madam Chair, members of the commission, Sydney's correct. A bit of a semantic, but Minnesota Department of Transportation would not review, since these are county roads. We do not really consult with Dakota County, other than potentially just sending them, the projects that we have in the works. But it is, the planning's purview to review that.
Okay, thanks for the explanation.
And that was just my concern with respect to whether it's the state, whether it's the county, whether it's a city road. If we're outside of the concerns of that regulatory governmental entity, then I'm okay with that. I just wanted to confirm that.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sandell?
Madam Chair, Cindy, I don't know if this is a question for you or for the applicant, but one thing that the applicant said that caught my ear was that it would be cost prohibitive to do a bigger entrance on the north side to make that work. But one of our economic considerations alone do not constitute practical difficulties. So I'm curious, are there other reasons that north side doing a bigger entrance would not work? I just want to make sure that we're,
Sure.
yeah.
Come on up.
Would you like to provide?
So to do it on the north side, we would have to, I think I mentioned this, we'd have to consider moving staff into a potential addition on the north side. And at that point, we would be getting into the parking lot as well, so we'd potentially be losing parking spaces and affecting traffic flow on that side. So that's another constraint on the north side, is based on how close the parking is to the building. So I don't know if that answers.
Not just cost.
It's not just cost, no,
reasons.
it's
Okay.
definitely existing parking facilities would be impacted as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Chair Kurtz, could we get the applicant to
Address?
provide his name and
Name and address,
address for the
please.
record, please?
Yeah, my name is Sean Kelly. My address is 6525 133rd Street West, Apple Valley.
Thank you.
A resident even. Any other, well, Commissioner Schindler.
I just wanted to say that I feel that this meets the definition of the practical difficulties, and I'm comfortable with what they're asking. I just figured I'd weigh in.
Appreciate that. Okay, this time, I don't think there's any other questions. What is the consideration of the board?
Madam Chair, I recommend approval of a variance reducing the setback for a vestibule addition from 50 feet to 38 feet from Cedar Avenue based on the updated findings 1 through 9 and subject to the conditions listed in the staff report.
Second?
Okay, that motion was made by Commissioner Scanlon and seconded by Commissioner Schindler. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Welcome. That brings us to other business and Tim Benetti.
Thank you, Chair Kurtz and members of the commission. Just a reminder, our next meeting is August 21st, 2024. We do have an item scheduled for that night. You may also, hopefully you're aware, if not you're aware, that will be Kathy Bodmer, our city planner's last meeting. She is retiring September 6th.
Did not know that.
Okay, so you will be cordially invited to a party for her, probably scheduled for the 6th on a Friday. So it's also tradition that the planning chair has to bring treats for the night, so not to put pressure on our chair. Next one is
So they
September 4th.
can be made, they don't have to be purchased.
Exactly, okay. September 4th will be the follow-up meeting and also our council on the 8th, which is tomorrow, and the 22nd. And with that, available for any questions. Just a very quick recap of Night to Unite last night. I don't know if any of you had or participated in some neighborhood events, but we had a great turnout, great feedback. We provided at a department head meeting this afternoon or this morning, kind of an update of who went. Surprisingly, very limited complaints, a lot of compliments. So we like to hear that. Politics were left off the table, even with those who were imbibing in some alcoholic drinks at their parties. And we had some really good turnouts and some real fun pictures taken. So if you participated, thank you. And if not, please do so next year. It's a great event to get to know your neighbors, and feel free to host it like our new planner did at her own new neighborhood. So anyway, that's all I have.
It is amazing. I saw many neighborhoods last night with a lot of people in people's front yards, so it's always, maybe we should have it more than once a year. Who knows? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Scanlon, second by Commissioner Schindler. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. This meeting has adjourned.
Thanks, John.